Thank you for coming to criticalsoundlabs.com. And today we're going to talk about how I got a distribution deal. So for you, those of you who do not know what a distribution deal is, that's when you have a record company and you connect with another company that can distribute your product either to retail outlets or to other websites like iTunes or Pandora, things of that nature. I was able to secure a distribution deal. So the way that I did that, first of all, you got to have a hot record. That's the first thing. So as in my other videos, I speak to you about don't mislead yourself. You got to have a hot product, because I've dealt with, and I'm also a consultant, so I've dealt with hot records, and I've dealt with records that were not so hot. And what I found is the records that were not as hot, you had to spend more money, more promotion to get any type of buzz. But if you have a record that is naturally hot, then it'll make things much easier. So today, the way things work is, as an independent artist, you have to build your own fan base, your own following. And that represents numbers, money to distribution companies and bigger record labels. So if you're able to be in a small town and you're able to create that buzz, they figure if they were able to distribute your record in more places the same way, they can make more money, and therefore they would give you a distribution deal. Now, in our particular situation, the way that I was able to get the distribution deal is initially the company wanted to come in and they just wanted to give a single deal. And that happens also. That's when they're just interested in one record and they want to promote that, and you can do whatever you want to do with the rest of your catalog. Well, when they came in and saw the operation, they were like, hey man, these guys are really on to something. And the one thing that I stress is technology and having polish, always forward thinking. I'm never going to be doing what the average Joe does, never. And so when they came in, they saw how well run the organization was. They also saw that we were forward thinking. I mean, we were doing our own, everything. Everything was done in-house. I mean, we were a full-fledged record label. The only thing they would need to come in and do is actually be a distributor versus come in and A&R the records, so on and so forth. Now, we did have an A&R representative that came in, and what his position was, he oversaw the whole project to make sure that it was cohesive and that it was something that was sellable. But for the most part, we had all the pieces intact, so it was pretty easy with dealing with us. All he had to do was communicate, what he needed. So in this particular scenario, I remember we had a record. It was very hot, but it was a dance record. Okay, didn't have any lyrics. So the A&R gentleman, he came in and said, "Hey, we love this record, but in order for it to get airplay, we need to have vocals." And I mentioned this in one of my mixing tutorials. Lyrics is what makes a person buy your particular record. So we had to add lyrics to the particular record, and that's what we did. We had to add lyrics to it to make it more infectious and also to make it radio friendly. And so we did that, and actually the record was very successful. I mean, in certain places, it was #1. I mean, in our hometown, #1, a whole bunch of cities across the U.S., #1. I mean, if you go to YouTube right now, there's pages and pages of people doing a dance. I mean, really ridiculous. I mean, we toured all across the, basically all across the Midwest, all the way almost to the West Coast, but Eastern Coast, so it's basically regional, East Coast all the way through the Midwest that we traveled. But the main thing was we were forward thinking, and we actually ran the business as a business. So when you came in, you could actually see that we had different departments, different areas that had their own special function. Now, another thing that I want to mention to you about how you got the distribution deal is you're going to need to have a team. You're not going to be able to do this by yourself. No way. But you're going to need to have a team. But before you have a team, you're going to have to be on the same mind path, the same thought process. And along that journey, you're going to meet some people that are very positive, very about, whatever it is that you need to have done. And then you're going to have some people that might not be on the same wavelength as you. And that's part of the process. You have to weed out the people that are not for your particular project or for your particular situation. And then you're going to have to see that there's going to be some people that initially you're going to be like, this guy here, this guy here, he. But you're going to find out that those are some of the hardest workers. And those are the guys that need to be promoted and given, positions of influence within your organization. And that's how we were able to do this and to make this record as big as it was. To be honest with you, it was very fulfilling to see your name on, the Billboard singles, charts or whatever. That's awesome. That's awesome, especially coming from the Midwest, where we're coming from. I'm a native of Cleveland, Ohio, and so the whole OH10, that's Ohio. I'm down in Columbus right now, but I love the whole OH10 and been in pretty much every city in the OH10. But again, you're gonna have to have a group, and you guys are gonna have to be on the same page. Okay. The other thing is you're gonna have to remember that your product, the music, is an actual product. It's just like Tide or Zest or Timberland, whatever. It's a product, and that product has to service the people. And that's basically what the A&R representative was explaining to us at the time. This is a product. It needs to be for the people. So you need to add lyrics to it so it can be infectious. They can sing along and enjoy it. And it worked out very well. And on the other end, as a recording artist, producer, record executive, you're going to need to be able to take that advice and actually execute it. And that's the big part. A lot of people, they're not able to take that advice and actually execute. They're like, no, we don't need to do this. We got this doing this. But if you want to grow, if you want to take it to the next level, you're going to have to be able to listen, and execute. Just to put it in context, that you guys have all heard about Michael Jordan, but one of Michael Jordan's best traits, before he would even dunk the ball or do any of those sweet moves, his ability to listen and execute. And most of the coaches that he's dealt with, that's the one trait that they talk about, his ability to listen and execute. So I'll give you an example. In regards to thinking of things as a product versus, thinking this is my baby and I brought this thing to this level. I had a gentleman that mentioned, he's like, hey man, and this is in regards to this one group. He's like, man, you have this group, but I know that's not really what you want to do, okay? So he was like, you need to take this group, sell that group, and do what you really want. And that right there, that blew my mind. I couldn't. This guy was from LA, doing what he does, and he's giving me this advice, and it was foreign to me at the time. Like, what do you mean? Like, give up what I got and go and sell it? But here's the thing. Real businessmen, that's what they do. So, for example, the guy at BET, sold BET, right? One bought a sports franchise. So he built one business up so that he could sell it, right? To buy an even bigger business. And so that was one of the key elements when I was first starting that I didn't understand is, wow, that's a crazy business concept. To build something that I'm so dear to and then sell it very foreign. But remember, that music that you make is a product. Just like, ice cream, bacon. It's a product. And products are meant to be bought and sold. And that's how you get to the next level. You build a product to a certain level and you sell it. So anyway, in terms of how I got the distribution deal, these are some of the principles, okay, that we use. The business model in terms of, when you're doing business, do business. This business of music is a business. And you have to be forward thinking. I mean, you can't do the same thing as this guy next to you because you'll be the same as this guy. So you have to outthink him or do something different, something that's going to set you apart. Okay? And that right there, that's that special sauce. That's that special character. That's the difference between, when a good example would be Future. Right now, Future's hot. He's on top of the game. There's a lot of guys that use, that same type of vocal effect, but they're not Future because of how Future's approach is and how Future's in the pocket. A lot of guys try it, and they might have marginal success, but they're not going to have the type of success that Future is because Future is different. He's very much different. And so that's what I'm trying to explain to you. You have to conduct business. You have to be different. And then you're also going to have to accept the fact that just because the two of us started out on this journey together, meaning, it might be me and 5 of my homeboys, and we might start on this journey together. Yeah, man, we're going to do this thing, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, it might just be you by yourself with a whole new staff. And it happens all the time. I've seen it. I've been a part of it, where things just happen. People aren't able to go the full distance on that journey. People don't necessarily have the same faith and same desire that you may have. So these are things that you're going to need to understand, comprehend in terms of you trying to better your career. And these are the differences with our distribution. That's how I got the distribution deal. These guys came in, they saw, oh, these guys, they're not like the rest of these guys. These guys are a self-contained recording company. They're not just some guys that just rap or sing. No, these guys can put the whole product together. Like, with one particular product, I mean, we were way ahead of our time. We're doing enhanced videos, doing it on CD-ROM. At the time, we're talking about, at that time, PCs were prevalent, and, Macintosh, it was doing all right, but a lot of people weren't able to do cross-platform, meaning that, they couldn't use the CD-ROM on both platforms. And we were able to figure that out, how to do a cross-platform, how to put video on CD-ROMs and make them enhanced so that people could actually learn our product and really get involved with it. So that's what separated us from there. Our thinking, that's really what made the difference. And, again, for those of you that don't know, I've been in these situations before, where I've had to deal with the lawyers, things of that nature, and myself and another record executive were able to knock out, point by point, what's going to be in the contract. And then from there, we were able to tell the lawyers, this is what we want in the contract, put it in the contract, send me a copy of that contract, and then I'll look it over and I'll have my lawyer look it over. And based upon that, whether or not we sign it, but all points need to be in there. And as a recording artist or producer or record executive, you need to know what needs to be in that contract, what those numbers need to look like. And so these are some of the things in terms of getting a distribution deal, maintaining that distribution deal that you need to know. You need to know that information because it's going to help you out. How many records you sold? What are you looking at, per region? Those are the type. What the demographics look like. Also, okay, so if we are selling in this particular area, we need to go to that area. We need to go to that area and promote our record. And what's the best way to promote our record? Is it grassroots? Because we did a lot of grassroots, meaning go to the hood and get involved with the people. Never, press the flesh, shake some hands, show them the product, get in, do what we do. That's part of what made us special, and that is why the distribution deal was given. Again, just to reiterate, initially the one company came in just to give us a single deal, but my mindset was, you're not gonna give me a single deal. That's not what I want. I want a distribution deal. You're gonna give me what I want, and I'm gonna convince you that that's what you want to give me too. And so that is what separates the mediocre from the top-notch guys. So if you want to hear more videos like this, don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also go to criticalsoundlabs.com and sign up for that email list. We're going to have an ebook coming out real soon, so only those that have signed up for our email list will even get the ebook and know when it's coming out. Okay, so appreciate your time. Thank you for coming to criticalsoundlabs.com. Have a good day. Peace.